Now that's a bass, huh? That's a slack crappie, gang. Just doesn't get any better. The smallmouth here in Champlain is phenomenal.
Hey guys, welcome to another episode of Weekend Roundup. I'm George, your Pocono Outdoors guy. What a beautiful weekend. I think I finally got a chance to get out and do some fishing. Crowds on the lake were finally gone, so it's after Labor Day. I hope you guys had a chance to get out and do a little fishing too. We got a really cool show lined up today. We're going to have Tony Maja on here. We're going to talk about some fishing you can do this part of the season, late season fishing. There's so much to do. We want to get with Tony and talk about that. But first, we got a few folks to thank, as always. We're going to thank Tim Keebler at Finseeker Guide Service. You know, Tim's going to get you on all those fall fish. The muskie, the smallmouth, the stripers might be hanging around. There's some walleye. Give Tim a call. Book that trip now, 215-262-4811. Call Tim now before those trips fill up. Also, Tony Maja products. You know, this is the season. Those big old stripers be coming back down. We got to get those big old Mojos, those big bunker spoons. We got the Outriders, those custom rods. They got it all. Check them out at TonyMajaProducts.com. And the Fisherman Magazine. You know, they got some great articles in September issue here. I got mine. There's a couple great articles on inshore fishing, how to get some of those albies. There's some Spanish and a couple other things that are great inshore. So check them out. There's some great articles, fisherman.com. Now, I don't want to talk around too much because we have my good friend Anthony Arcabasio, Tony Maja Jr. on, and I want to see if I can bring Tony in right now. How you doing there, Tony?
How you doing, guys?
All righty.
What's up, Georgie? How are you?
Not too much. We're doing good. How about you?
Very good. Very good. Just trying to center myself in the middle of the thing.
No, you're doing good, buddy. So how things been? Have you been out at all, or are you just waiting for crowds to die down as well?
I've been out a few times, not many. I mean, it's been a very slow summer for me fishing-wise. I went out fluking a few times. Sometimes I'd rather watch paint dry than fluke when it's not good. But you know, by my fall, the way we have our boat, it's been a tough year, very tough year. But I mean, people have gotten some good ones.
Yeah, they have. I've seen a couple of 10-pounders. I know Jim was reporting on a couple of them too.
Yeah, there's a lot of double digits.
Yeah. Hey, we got a couple of good folks joining us. Jen Wong joined us.
What's up, Jen?
Charles Weideman, how you doing there, buddy? Good to see you. And also the Cauldron's Fur, Fish, and Feathers Lodge. Love to see you guys. Thank you all for joining in. Hope you enjoy the conversation tonight. So, Tony, I wanted to get you on here because, like I said, it's after Labor Day, and I think this is the sportsman season. You know, this is when it's our time to get out in the water. The fishing's great. But I wanted to get some guys that maybe don't hit the salt so much. What are some things we can get into as the season goes forward from here?
I mean, this is a lot of things. I mean, first of all, we have still fluke around. I mean, if you're looking into salt water, you have fluke around still now. Inshore tuna, there's been giants inshore on the bunker schools within a mile offshore. If you're on the surf, guys have gotten everything from cobia off the surf to snapper bluefish, also bonita, albacore, Spanish max are all inshore, midshore, inshore. They caught some wahoo, which is pretty cool, and not really offshore at all. They were probably maybe 5 to 10 miles out. And there's just been so much different fish. But schoolie bass and decent sized striped bass have been, the resident fish are still here. They're around all the time. They're people starting to fish for them again. Just waiting for the big ones to come down from up north. I'm sorry, from up north, going south when it starts getting cold. So we're probably a couple weeks away from that too. But then you have blackfish too. You have blackfish that I think it's open in New Jersey. You could keep one, but I know New York is still closed. But you'll have that coming soon too, which is a big fishery. And I love it. I mean, that's fun. Blackfish is fun.
Yeah, like I say, I think you can keep one now, right?
Was that?
You can only keep one now, blackfish,
yeah,
right?
New Jersey, zero. There's none in New York.
Okay.
They got to come to a conclusion where the New York and New Jersey could coincide, but straight they can't because New Jersey doesn't have a commercial fishery. New York does, so that accounts for a lot of the quota that they have. So, but there's other fish they could try to match up so people don't come over that invisible line and get a big ticket.
Right. Hey,
really.
John Augustine joined us. Hello, John. How you doing, sir?
Johnny. What's up, buddy?
Good to hear from you again. Thanks for joining in. So, like we're talking about, albies and stuff like that. Some stuff you can get inshore right now. I see a lot of those guys are using those small metals. The epoxy jigs are big right now. Do you find they're effective too?
I love the epoxy. Like I was fishing and we caught some probably about 2 weeks ago. We were going for bluefin, but we had a small, short bluefin, but we got, I think I couldn't even count. It's just too many albacore, 2 different types of mackerel. I think chub mackerel and Spanish mackerel, and we caught bonita, albacore. We caught a bunch of fish. We got just one bluefin. That's what we were really going for. But
Right.
The Spanish mackerel, we got about 12 of them, and we got so many. The albacore and bonita was ridiculous.
Yeah,
they fight, man. They really hurt your gear. I need to change out my reel and stuff. By the time I was done spoken.
Yeah.
But,
like I was telling you before the show, I remember years back fishing with Captain Albert Story. We were out there catching albies and Spanish mackerel and real light tackle and just little 2-ounce jigs. And boy, what a blast that is! Yeah. Even if you don't keep them, just catch and release. They're just a load of fun.
It's the first time I fished the way we usually. We see bait and we would catch fish, fast retrieve. This we anchored up and chummed.
Okay.
And we chummed and chummed and chummed. And then we, some people are fishing peanut bunker. Some people are fishing spearing. You put a spearing on a small hook. You hide the hook on some nice thin fluorocarbon. But
right.
I was just using jigs. I just I did the little, you throw the bait out and you remember the clumps of in Florida they do clumps of like sand, like make a clump of sand so it sinks quicker.
Right,
so,
right.
I think they do it for yellowtail snapper. They do it.
Right.
We don't have that, so we were just throwing in one spearing. I think long it takes to sink down 2 feet. It's painful. So I'd rather jig. But,
Yeah, well, I remember we were, they were just working a bunch of bait, and all you do is like throw a jig out there and hold on. It was every cast. It was just a load of fun.
Really. Hit it. Oh, we got a lot of, believe it or not, sea robins.
Really?
Jigs, yeah. Because when you we cast the epoxy jig out, you let it sit.
Gotcha.
You let it hit the bottom. You got to reel it up quick because if it stays on the bottom a second, there's always a sea robin that picks it up.
I've been reading a lot of guys been eating them, and I always, I just always throw them right back. But I hear they're really good. Maybe next time I get out, I'll save 1 or 2 just to try it.
I did. I went with Josh from Gypsy Charters. We went. What did we do? I forgot what we did. We did striped bass video in the spring, and we went early fluke. We didn't get any fluke, but we got like 7 big sea robins, and they cut it up. They filleted it for me.
Oh, did they?
Let me tell you, it was good.
Was it?
I never thought I'd eat it before, but it was very good.
That's always what I thought. They're not. I don't like looking at them, let alone eating them. But I hear that's worth
a lot of meals in my lifetime because there's many times I probably caught more sea robins than I ate fluke in my whole life. So
who hasn't, right? Hey, Ryan Sturgis, thanks for joining us, buddy. Good to see you here tonight. So what we got them. We got the couple weeks yet with the yellowfins. We got the obviously the false albacore. The Spanish for a couple more weeks. Then we got the bass will start coming down. I guess we'll start seeing blues even a little bit later.
Yep. Well, the blues have been here. There's a lot of them on the bunker schools. There's definitely a lot of bluefish around. Big ones, I haven't seen many, but like I said, I haven't really noticed. But cocktail blues, I catch them every day.
Oh, do they?
Yeah. And the peanut bunker and they're everywhere. They are everywhere. The peanut bunker, Great Hills Harbor is just like loaded. You go walk on the Great Hills Harbor.
Yeah.
You just walk on peanut bunker.
Well, that's what I was telling Josh. Josh and I were out fishing today, going for some stripers, dragging some of your Mojos around. Wasn't a good day, but any day on the water is a good day as far as we're concerned.
Oh, always. Yep.
But I was telling, I was out with John Augustine earlier this year, and the bunker up in the rear, and I was telling Josh I could have probably walked to shore. They were just so thick up there.
Yeah, when we were coming in from offshore fishing the other day, I went out with Derek from Fisher Price. We couldn't, and I guess it was outgoing tide, so you see all the big pods moving out of the Raritan.
Right.
So they're in the ocean, and that's usually good. That's when they get hit by the tuna, the big tuna.
Okay.
But when I tell you that we saw from Manasquan to Sandy Hook, hundreds of pods. Big pods. I'm not talking about little pods. A bunker boiling, like to the point where they were like one big ball. That's where they start suffocating because they're on top of each other so much. So, people see like dead bunker floating, they think that the end of the world's coming.
You're right. they're just getting fed on pretty good, right?
Yeah, and a lot of them, like when they notice, like if you see them bowled up that much, they may not be getting chased yet, but there's something around that's bowling them up.
Sure.
They feel protected when they bowl up, and I mean, they're all targets at that point. I would run away from my friends. I'd get away from the whole pack, but they don't know about it. So.
Have you heard of any of those big blues out lately? I mean, I remember going out blue fishing years ago and getting 15+ pounders all the time. I haven't heard much about that.
We used to get them. This is actually the time of year we used to get them in Great Hills Harbor.
Okay.
Usually late September, early October, right against the back of the harbor. There'll be people anchored up and people off the actual jetty. Not jetty, it's off the wall. There's a little wall over there. And they'd have bunker trapped up against the back. And you're talking anywhere from 15 to 19 pounds.
Yeah, I miss those days.
Have not seen that in years.
Yeah. It's just most of them are, I mean, they're still good blue fishing, but they're not that size they used to be.
This is the first year that they've been back decent with the people, the past 4 years, but everything's cyclical. They're not extinct by any chance.
Right.
There's way too many of them to be extinct. But we, as a kid, we didn't catch bass. The bass disappeared, and then we were catching bluefish. We would get 7 coolers in a day. Like ridiculous. But every fish was 9 to 15, 16 pounds.
I know guys look at you like you got 2 heads, but I enjoy eating bluefish. I mean, you just got to clean it right, and
I might be one of them. That looks like it.
I don't eat it every day, but I enjoy going out for a trip and bring a couple blues home, especially the smaller ones, not the real big ones, but a couple 3-4 pounders are great in the pan.
Listen, I don't know. Like everybody has their own taste. I personally don't like it, but my father has gotten to the point where he says, "Oh, you know what? You can make it taste good." But then again, he used to teach me, if you can make cardboard taste good, would you eat cardboard?
I guess that's what you grew up with,
Yeah, you don't eat that. You don't see it enough. Yeah. And then to have one is probably not bad. There's so many of them, I wouldn't eat them. There's so many of them.
Yeah.
I remember I grew up in Staten Island. I don't know if I'd eat those bluefish in back of Staten Island. I really wouldn't. Not back then, at least. Maybe now I would. Not back then.
Probably now you're okay. Yeah.
It's clean, very clean now. The water. I mean, they have Raritan Bay has porpoises, has whales. It's crazy.
We've seen them. We were out there. There was actually a whale and a whole pod of dolphin out there breaching. It was really cool.
It's crazy. I've never seen anything like it. Like years ago, the water was so dirty. Listen, it looks dirty, but the bottom is different. You got to remember, it's not oceans where it's sand. It's got that muddy, murky bottom. So that gets churned up, and it'll make looks like chocolate soup.
Right.
I wouldn't drink it though.
No, I wouldn't drink it either. We were talking about fluke, and actually Josh and I are heading out later this week. We're going out and do a little fluking out in the Jamaica too. So nice. I'm hoping the weather holds out and we go offshore a little bit and try to get into some of those big old fluke. I'm hoping for a 10-pounder. We'll see what happens.
I think they go out of Point Pleasant. That's straight out of there to the ocean. That's where they're getting the nice fish. Yeah.
So we're going to see. We'll give it a try later this week. And I think it closes on Friday's last day anyway. Then the season closes. So I'm going to try to sneak in for a quick day.
Well, is New York different?
I don't know, to be honest with you, Tony.
I have a tournament Saturday, so that would be a problem.
Yeah.
We have a tournament, so I don't think that will work out too well. That wouldn't work out so well. I got to call my cousin after we get off today.
Yeah, we're going to sneak out before the season ends here.
Yeah. But so this, the striped bass is something I'm starting to get in. I'm starting to gear myself up for. We're loading up on all the products.
Yeah.
But you could still till the bass come in. You could catch bass, fluke. You catch blackfish, sea bass if they're in season. Of course, check your regulations wherever you are. But there's fish everywhere. Porgies. I mean, I went out porgy fishing this summer. That was one of the other things I did. Me and the kid from Northeast, John from Northeast. Yeah. Probably had like 300-400 in one trip, him and I. And I had my porgy filter.
Augustine said New York is a little later for the season. So
it is. That's what I figured. All right, good.
So he would know.
Because I just gave myself up on a live broadcast, so I can't do it now.
Yeah.
It is a Staten Island tournament, so that's good.
Yeah. John Lynch, thank you. Yes, we know Friday is the closer, so we're trying to get out on Thursday. I think it's the 18th, so we'll get out there for
I'm from New Jersey. I can still fish in New York, right? I'm only kidding.
I think you can. You're okay.
I was from Staten Island originally, so I'm all right.
Yeah. So yeah, but you jumped right into what I wanted to get into next. I mean, obviously, we're both in the same boat with stripers. That's our passion. We love getting out for them. and getting into that fall run. Tell us when that's coming, you think. I mean, what do we got to look for? And, what can folks use to get on some of these big ones?
The main thing I look for is the temperature of the water. That's going to be, they'll start migrating as soon as that temperature starts getting cooler here. The thing that I look at here to make sure that they come and they stay is the bunker. I mean, the bunker is going to keep them in there, and it's going to keep them feeding on them. Like they come a long way. It's just like us. We drive. We have to stop at a fast food restaurant.
Right.
Rowdy Bay is their fast food restaurant, and the ocean around it. It's structure. It's bait, and it holds bait, which holds fish.
Right.
Those fish will be here. I say. I mean, what's today's date? September. I'm going to go out on a limb and say what day. Last year we got them. I think I went out with Gypsy Charters in the fall. We hit it on the nail on the head. The first day people were catching them in Long Island and the Rockaways, we were out on, and we got, I think it was 26 fish from 40 to 55 pounds.
Wow.
It was the best day I've ever had. I mean, ever had. It was just wild. We had 17 people on the boat. It was the girl, the captain's wife. Mm-hmm. She's also Captain Jess. It was her birthday, and we were going to go blackfishing, which was out of season. So we're like, you know what? Let's go striped bass fishing. Maybe we'll get a couple. We got a couple, and every one of them was on bunker spoons.
I was just going to say, your spoons, that's your real season for those spoons, those big number 3s and number 4s, right?
Fall is. It's always been, like I said, always been a spring. Spring, I really didn't troll as much back in the years. Spring was always a live bait. People got to remember, it was colder back then. People weren't in the water in March and April. My father put the boat in the water till May 1st, May 15th sometimes. So I mean, that's a big difference, everybody was in the water in March this year,
right? And
those fish are here for a while, and especially the resident fish, not the big fish. The resident fish are just, they will load it as soon as the bait comes into that Raritan Bay. They come from up the Hudson, wherever they go. All those birds they migrate to, and they don't go any further south or north. A lot of them stay here, and they feed. And they were feeding this year. I've never seen anything like it. There's so many fish.
The bait and the Raritan, I was just amazed. Like I said, I could have walked ashore if I had to. Just the bunker was so thick. Hey, John Lynch, thank you. He says New Jersey closes next Saturday, so we can still fish on Saturday. So we got a couple days there yet.
I could go fish in Jersey if I wanted to. Then
yeah. It sounds like you can. Thank you, John. Appreciate that.
I'll be fishing in New York, but it's an option. You never know.
Yeah. How about your Mojos? I mean, we did great in the spring with your Mojos. Is fall a good time for them too?
Listen, you have to. I mean, it's a necessity. I mean, you have to fish Mojos. When I say that we did better in the spoons, it's because sometimes the bunker I think the Mojos work a lot better in the spring, early spring when it's cold out.
Right.
Because there's herring, a lot of herring. You see the gannets diving. Most they dive on adult bunker. Don't get me wrong. I saw them die. I saw them, choking on adult bunker this big.
Sure.
I don't know how they do it, but they do. But there was early spring. You get that early herring run, and I think the Mojos work perfect when the herring. That's more like a skinnier bait fish.
Right.
And I mean, I don't know, because at the end of the year, last year in the fall, there was no bunker around. There was only sand eels.
Okay.
We're catching tons of them only on bunker spoons.
Okay.
So, I mean, I don't know. Maybe they see the bunker, they just get excited. That's like
just instinctive more than anything.
Broccoli, we eat McDonald's, Yes, not me.
You can't argue that one even a little bit. Now, how about stuff like the surf? I mean, I know they come down, we go offshore a little bit, or inshore. We'll hit the bay, right, for some of these stripers. They come in to feed up. But what about guys like on the surf? Can they still get them on the surf?
Oh, yeah. I mean, listen, every year it's been getting tougher and tougher for them because I guess a lot of it's because of the beach replenishment. So the bass don't seem to congregate. And I think a lot of it happens to do with, listen, night fishing, they always get bass.
Right.
But it seems like every year it's been getting worse and worse off the beach. But they catch, I mean, I got, I think, 30 little short schoolies all the way through February last year.
Okay.
Plugs off the beach. I mean, they're here all the time. People think it's 35 degrees. I'm not going fishing. I put my jacket on. I go to the beach. I throw a couple plugs in.
Sure.
You don't keep them. They're fun.
Right. Now, is that your choice, using plugs, or is like tins and teasers? What's your choice?
I mean, I've been thrown out. I just have I pick one and I go. And if I lose it, that's it. I go home.
You're done for the day.
Oh, it's cold. I'm not switching. I'm not taking my gloves off. Nothing. That's it. People have their waders on. They go in the water. Not me. I try to cast this. I try to pick and choose the tides and the days, and then this way I could just get in. But I mean, there's a lot of small fish off that surf. A lot.
Yeah.
And I saw a lot of cobia off the surf this year.
That's what I'm hearing. I hear the cobias are fantastic.
Yeah. Off of Staten Island beaches, not even beaches. I've never heard that.
Yeah.
I know they come in there, but that's a very, it's odd. Everything's coming down. I'm hoping we get a tarpon run eventually too.
That would be insane, wouldn't it?
They have caught tarpon here. They have, not a lot. I think there's like 3 or 4 that they, if you look them up.
Okay.
90 pounds is the record in New Jersey and New York. I know a kid who caught one right out of Sandy Hook.
Well, there's so much up here now that you thought were southern. I mean, people usually don't think of mahi up here too much, but I mean, they're getting like more and more every year. We're getting stuff like that up in this area.
That's another thing that's a big run right now too, which I didn't bring in the mahi.
The mahi, yeah,
huge. We didn't get any that day, which is very odd, but we didn't get any. But you find the closest lobster pot you can, 5 miles out. They throw peanuts. We used to use killies or little jigs.
Right.
And you pick a pot, you catch a couple of them, they get scared, go to the next pot. And you just watch pot hops. It's fun.
But you're even talking about wahoo. We caught a couple wahoo up here. Some folks were catching, and that I always think of that as a Gulf Stream. I mean, I remember fishing off in North Carolina for marlin, and we were picking up, wahoo and mahi and stuff down there. You just don't think of them up this far.
I mean, listen, it's almost to the point where I think I may one day next year, if they start catching me, I may troll for them.
Yeah.
I don't troll. No one thinks of trolling them from around here. I mean, you got to go. That's a fast troll.
Yeah.
Wahoo's a very fast troll, but I mean, everybody was trolling around us was going way too slow for wahoo, even bluefin in my eyes. But I guess people are just picking at the albies and bonita. I don't know. That's a fast troll.
There's white marlin up here, right? I haven't done it up here, but I think there's white up this way.
I haven't heard of any inshore. They're in the Hudson Canyon. I know right outside of there in the Hudson. I don't know. I mean, I'm not a big marlin. I caught one white marlin my whole life. That's it. Okay. And it was during one of the marlin tournaments too.
Well, they're definitely a fun fish to catch. You get I think the one I had was a blue marlin, about 550, and that kind of whooped my butt. That's for sure. That's not a little wahoo.
You didn't want to fish it for one again after that, right?
No. I was good that day for sure.
All right, check that one off. I'm done with that.
Exactly. I went back and had a beer.
I mean, I think two. I got blue marlin. I mean, do I want to get one? Not really.
Yeah.
I've had my fulfillment of big fish. That's not one of them. So.
Definitely one of the high points of my life. I loved catching that.
That's a big fish, man. That's a big fish.
It really was. It was a lot of fun. But like I said, the fishing around here is even getting better. Like every year, we're starting to get some great stripers. I wish the blues would come back a little more because I really enjoy catching the bluefish. But we're getting the mahi. But like maybe one of these days we can go off a little bit offshore and maybe get a couple of those mahi on board. What do you think?
Well, listen, I think in October, you and I we're gonna have one trip. We're gonna definitely make it happen. Me, you, Jim Hutchinson, and maybe Johnny Augustine.
Yeah.
We'll try to make one happen. We'll see if we can before it gets busy. Even when it gets busy, I'll take a day off. I'm all out.
Yeah, I think we need to schedule that and get our hands around a couple. We all need a 50. We all need a 50. We got to get a 50.
But I got everything I do. My father's going to kill me. So. Okay. And the boat's in the backyard, so I took over the business. I took over the boat, but I still got to go through his house to get to it. So.
You got to ask Dad for permission, right?
It's ridiculous. It's crazy.
Hey guys, do you guys have any questions for Tony here while we got him on the line? Probably one of the best fishermen out there on the East Coast right now. Got any questions? Let's post them up here. See if we can get Tony to answer them for you.
Now, in the meantime, I don't know if I told you, we have the 2 new spoons coming out.
No, why don't you talk about them?
We have, unfortunately, I don't have the samples here. Someone took them out of my garage when I wasn't looking, I think. But they are gold and bronze dipped spoons.
Oh, them. I did see them. Yeah, they're awesome.
And I used it in the video in the Raritan early in the year. I used it last fall, and I've used it for a whole year before we put it into production because it's got to work as good, if not better, than every other color we have.
I think it's just for those days when they just want something a little bit different, and it's got that goldish, rose gold color to it.
Color to a bunker is probably like that bronze gold.
Yeah,
look. It's like a darker color and then lighter on the bottom. But you get people that put 2 tiers of different colors on their bunker spoons. Like, again, I'm not saying anybody's wrong, but you got to remember, if the top and the bottom of a bunker spoon are 2 colors, that's both sideways. It's not sitting like a bunker spoon in this way. The bunker spoon doesn't go like that. It goes like this.
right.
And then, when you see flashes, that's what the bunker do.
Right.
They turn sideways.
Well, we've seen that up in the bay.
What's that?
We've seen that up in the bay, the way they run. Well, here you go. We got a couple questions for you, Anthony. We got Jen Wong wants to know, how do you recommend using your Mojos? Rigged, single, or tandem, or solo?
That's a good question. When I'm in the Raritan, I'll always use tandems, because you can use lighter ones to keep them close to the boat. You don't have to. You're 30 feet, 35 feet. Now, if I'm in the ocean and I'm running the ocean, I use a single 24 or 32 ounce. And people say, oh, if there's not big fish on, it's too big. 32 ounce, 8 ounce, 6 ounce, does not matter. They all have 9-inch shads. They don't see the profile of the head. The weight is that, yes, it's a pain in the ass using 32 ounces. I get it. Excuse my language, sorry. 32 ounces is tough. It feels like you have a fish on already. It's a lot of weight. You put a 50-pounder in a 32-ounce Mojo.
Right.
But the thing is, you got to remember, you're using braid.
Right.
And different reels and rods for that tactic. So it's not, if you had to put 32 ounces on and then a spoon and then a 50-pounder with wire, I get it. But listen, we're big boys. We can do it. Yeah. I do it once. Every trip I reel in one fish and then I'm like, all right, I'm done.
Leave it for the other guys, right?
Okay, I'm done after that. Unless we're doing a video with Mark, with Kid Coaches, he makes me reel in every fish. He just get the kick out of it every time I do. I don't know why, but
that's okay.
But the Mojos I use in the ocean, I use single heavy. People ask me, do I use 8 and 4? Should I take 24 and 6s again? If you have a tandem, the back Mojo with the trail, which is the lighter one, you have I use a 4 and a 10-ounce, 10-foot leader. 10-foot leader is always the lighter Mojo, and the heavy Mojo is on the short leader.
Okay.
If you're using a spoon and Mojo to get it down, spoon Mojo combos work phenomenally, especially in the fall. 85 to 90% of the time that spoon gets hit. But every now and then that Mojo will get hit, and you wouldn't have that if you didn't have the Mojo attached to itself.
To bring it down.
To bring it down, yep. And that's on the bottom, and the spoon's always. I use a 12-foot leader for the spoon Mojo. You want the longer mono leader. You have to have that for the action. It gives a little bit more action. So
right.
But I mean, single Mojos. It matters on how many lines I have out, what boat I'm on. If it's my boat, I use a single and a tandem, and then 2 spoons.
You mix them up, yeah.
Occasionally, I'll have a 3-ounce Mojo on the top on the rocket launcher, about 300, 400 feet back.
Gotcha.
My friend Nino Aversa, he calls it the way back.
Yep.
He calls it the way back. And you know what? When you go over the fish and they get spooked, they come out about 300 feet later. They'll come back up.
They'll circle back around, right?
Around 10 feet down. It's not low. It's a light Mojo, but they come to the surface for it. They really will.
Awesome. Jen, I hope that answered your question, buddy. Thank you very much. We have our friend Ryan Sturgis has a question. He says, do you have any smaller stuff for river fishing? I was going to say your 3-ounce Mojo. Why don't you?
Yeah, I mean, the 3-ounce Mojo, I'm actually looking for. It's not going to be here this season. Next season, I'm going to have a 2-ounce Mojo. I'm not going any lower than that because then it becomes a bucktail.
A bucktail, right.
I'm not making bucktails, so I won't do it. But the 2-ounce Mojo is just going to be a little bit lighter. And yeah, that the 3-ounce Mojo is phenomenal. It has a 5.5-inch shad on it, so it's not, it's not. And you cast, and when you cast it, you don't really jig it much. Slow retrieve. You gotta remember it's paddle tail.
Right.
Paddle tails. I mean, listen, definitely pop it once in a while because it pops the hairs on the Mojo. But you want it slow as you can. It swims, and they crush it.
Right.
Is everything. I told you I got a bass up in Lake Wallenpaupack trolling. Right. A little Mojo and a little spoon. We also make a number 1 spoon, which is, it's exactly what you're looking for in freshwater, saltwater, any baits with small, peanut bunker, What are the allies? That's what it is by you in the lakes.
Yep. Yeah. Wise.
I mean, and they catch fish all over in the lakes and rivers. I mean, Bass Pro Shops, we have them all over the country. It's pretty cool.
Ryan, I want to give you a heads up. That's one of our go-to baits when we troll like Beltsville and Wallen Pond Pack and stuff. That's become our favorite bait because it's really right size. You can get some really nice stripers on them in freshwater and even the river. If you're trolling them, you might be jigging them more and reeling them in the river. But I think that's going to be just phenomenal bait for you if you try a couple of those out. So I hope that helped. Okay, John Lynch says, how much does color matter versus size or profile?
That's a very, very important question because color does matter. It does. Now, when you say color does matter, it's not that you need a bunker looking spoon, like where it has the eye, has the outline. They don't see that. First of all, the thing's so erratic, they just see, but different colors work at different days. I used to think my father was crazy the way he used to say, dark days, I'm like, oh, we should use glow or we should use a light one. Nope. You want to use the darker color that you have. So dark green is what we have. That's one of our darker spoons. On a light day, sunny day, we use the opposite. We'd use white and chartreuse, the yellowish chartreuse.
Right.
And I'm telling you, he's 100% right. And I always say to myself, I don't know how the hell he knows it, but he knows. Everything he says is
it's experience, right?
Yeah, it is. But I mean, he says things that sound so outlandish. I'm like, that can't be right. And he's right.
Yeah.
He's always right. He's not listening, right? Don't tell him that, please.
John, I hope that answered your question there, sir. Thank you so much for asking.
And just to get back to that, sorry, just for John, size does matter because you want to match the hatch.
Exactly.
If they're feeding on the herring, we use a number 3 spoon or a Mojo. Or if they're feeding on adult bunker, then we use a number 4 spoon. If they're feeding on peanut bunker, which is this time of year,
right?
And this peanut bunker, then use 1 or 2.
Right.
There's a lot of top bunker too, which is the middle-sized bunker. Which the first time this year I saw them in Great Kills this year. They're perfect. Like they call them lollipops because they fit perfect in the bass mouth.
Right.
They love those things. They're like candy to them. They love them.
Well, that's going back to the other questions. That's why we use the number 3s for trolling, just like you would in saltwater. It's not so much that they'll eat a full size Mojo. It's just they're not used to seeing 10, 12 inches of bait coming through.
Right.
But those 3 ounce are ideal.
You won't get a lot on those big ones. You won't get a lot, but you'll definitely get some.
You'll get a big one.
You'll get the big one that says, you know what, that's a little lake trout or whatever he thinks it might be.
Exactly.
Like they usually don't eat, but when they're hungry, they'll eat it. They will.
Yep. Chris Pitcher says, love the spoons. Thank you, Chris. Ryan says, great info as always. Thank you. We have James Murgison Jr. says, fluoro, mono, or braid. What do you prefer? And I know you got a whole spiel on this. Why don't you talk about that, Tony?
Okay, so with Mojos, I always use a mono leader. Fluoro, I guess you can use. I think it's over. You don't have to, but you can use fluoro. But when you're trolling, you have to have braid on the Mojos. People do braid on the spoons. When you're doing a spoon Mojo combo and you have the Mojo to weigh it down, you could get away with no problem. If you're doing just a spoon, you're gonna have to put a drill in front of it. You're not gonna get the depth. People try and they keep saying, I want to get down. I don't want to fish a wire. My father used to teach me, don't fix it if it's not broken.
Right.
Okay. You can fool around. Listen, you'll get it to work. It will work. But you put the Mojo in front of the spoon, it's gonna take a little action away from it. You put on a drill, it's still going to take some action away from it. No matter what. I mean, it does because the weight is going to restrict it from using the tip of the rod.
Sure.
But always make sure if you're going to use braid or wire, you have to have that long mono leader, at least 12 to 15 foot leader, because if it goes too close to the wire, you're not going to get the action. And
understand,
braid has no give. Braid has no give, like it has no stretch to it, excuse me. Mono has stretch, wire has zero stretch and zero give. I mean, it's if you use directly to the wire, you might as well just not even do it. It's not going to work. But braid with regular Mojos, wire. There's also lead core. People use lead core. Jim Frieda short catch sport fishing. He loves the lead core. Okay. And he uses lead core with Mojos too.
Okay.
He gets them down a little bit deeper. Listen, the more weight you have, you got to remember less line, less chances of losing fish.
That's true.
Simple as that, you know.
Well, James also asks, does line color matter?
I mean, imagine where you're fishing, I'm sure. If you're fishing in the Raritan, I don't think so. They can't see that color.
I would say they probably can't see it anyway.
They'd have to be, you know, like Superman sight. Like, it's impossible. It's like trying to see in the middle of the night without a light on. I mean, it's just impossible.
Right.
But with, you know, the if you're using like fluoro, maybe fluoro would work. Considering that instead, I don't think it does, because they see the action of spoon and mojo. They don't see the line. It's not like bait fishing where it's just sitting there. You're moving so fast. They see the turbulence and they hear it and they feel the vibration, and then they look and they see the spoon. They can't resist the spoons or the mojos. You just can't resist.
Yeah, I've never known stripers to be really line shy anyway. It's, you know, you're more finesse fish. I think you want to worry about fluoro.
We do like underwater camera. Like, I had the underwater camera on. Even when I did that lake, like what I was telling you up at Lake Wallenpaupack,
right.
That scares them away. The sound, the mass of it. I mean, I have yet to get a strike on the spoon, because first of all, I wouldn't be able to tell anyway, because it makes me nauseous trying to watch the spoon moving around. But the mojo, we have
on camera, right?
20 fish coming up in a matter of 30 seconds following the mojo. And I guess they saw or heard because it makes a lot of noise to that water,
right.
Camera. But it's pretty cool footage to see all these big bass just coming right behind it.
Yeah, that would make me sick, especially if they didn't like just grab it.
We didn't get a hit on the mojo. We didn't get a hit on the mojo the whole entire day. And even with the camera, without the camera, we didn't get a hit.
Yeah.
I guess they were following it forever. I don't know why they weren't hitting it. But
I think that's what happened today. They were just all following it. They didn't take it.
Listen, you wouldn't know. They could have followed you back to dock. You would not know.
We wouldn't know it, yeah.
You wouldn't know it.
Hey, we got another great question here from Chris Churchman. Tony, this is one I know you talk about a lot. He says, great stuff from Tony Maja Products. What is the best troll speed, and how much pump should I look for? And what's the best speed for mojos?
Okay. Two things. The spoons, we'll go with the spoons right now. You need that soft tip I always tell everybody on the rod, because that's where your action is going to come from. And that's what you're watching. That's your speed. And you just say, what kind of pump would you look for? I think it's like 86 pumps a minute. That's getting with that action. You want to sit there and count them, enjoy yourself. But I just look for a constant tip action. You don't want it pumping heavy. You want to see it go boom, 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 boom. You know, you want to see that thing moving. So you basically want to see it's doing a 2 to 3 foot sweep. You don't want it going like this. You want the spoon going like that. So that's how the pump is. Every time it comes up there, it comes up there.
Right.
That's gonna be the pump. It's different speed wise. It's different every time you're going with the current, against the current. You know, every boat troll is different. Cross current. You know, we always did cross current. Be careful, because if everybody's going north and south and you're going east and west, you're going to make a lot of people upset.
Very upset.
So be very careful, because you'll be. And I didn't tell you to do it. Don't mention my name if you did that, because they already want to kill me. So.
Yeah, but I think that's one thing that I think you taught me a long, long time ago is you don't look at your speedometer or GPS speed. It's the action of the rod that sets your speed.
Especially when you guys fish on the lakes, there's not really a pump involved. Not much. You still see a little bit, so that's enough to get if you're using the spoons. Now mojos, you want to go, if you're just fishing mojos, just plain mojos, you want to go as slow as possible. I see people doing 3, 4, 5 knots. I mean, that you're going to catch fish that way, don't get me wrong, but if you ever seen the video underneath the water, it looks like a piece of spaghetti spinning.
Okay.
Spinning. You want to go slow where it's just sitting. And remember, the faster you go, the higher that mojo's coming up.
Right. And you want that down.
You know, so, but if you're fishing mojos and spoons, you have to have that spoon working, or else take it out.
Yeah.
Mojos will work at any speed. They work better at slower speeds. My spoons work better at slower speeds as well, so it actually helps. A lot of spoons work better at faster speeds than mine. Mine is, it looks like a wounded bunker more so so it's not as erratic as other ones. So
bottom line is, watch the tip of your rod and not your speedometer when you're running your boat.
Exactly. And make sure you watch, when you look back, make sure you look forward afterwards, though.
Yes.
You want to watch the back of the rod the whole time.
I've done that once or twice.
Right, now listen, I had to. Don't get me. I almost ran over people's lines in Raritan Bay. I'm done. I can't do that anymore.
Chris, I hope that answered your question. Really good questions for Tony. Thank you very much. James says thank you too, and Jen says thank you. to everyone. So yeah, that's really great advice, Tony. I hope these little tips gave you all something to look forward to, and you guys get out, hopefully out in the ocean or in the bay, wherever you're fishing this fall. Use these tips, get on these fish, get some Tony stuff. They're great products. Look for those number 3s, number 4s, and definitely get some of those Mojos too, because they're always going to help you out. Anything else for Tony? Because Tony, don't go anywhere. We're going to continue on with the rest of the show if there's no other questions. Chris, you're welcome. Thank you very much again for that question. That was good stuff. But yeah, let's move on with the show, and don't go anywhere, Tony, because we're going to talk after the show here. Okay?
You got it.
All right, buddy. I'm going to switch over here real quick because we are going to move on to our trophy board for this week. And we got some guys getting some really nice fish here. I was really surprised the stuff we had in this week. Travis Roberts down in Florida, he's getting some beautiful redfish. And we were talking, I think I'm going to have to take a trip to Florida just to get on some beautiful reds. It's something that's on my bucket list, and I want to get a couple of these real nice ones. Dave Gebhardt gave us a really nice chunky hybrid out of Blue Marsh. I knew they were in there. I just didn't realize they were that nice. There was some really nice fish in there. So congratulations there, David. Jen Wong sent us a photo. He was out bass fishing in New Jersey, and he got a couple of these real beautiful bass working the shoreline hard, he said. So really good work there. Patrick Carey out working the rivers, getting into some really nice smallmouth. This is the season for those smallmouth guys. You got to get out and get on them. Here's another nice hybrid out of Blue Marsh. This is Nick Canestra. He's been doing real good down there in the Susquehanna, but he hit Blue Marsh. And look at the size of these hybrids out there. I don't know, Tony. I think we're going to take a trip out there and get some of these guys too. Good friend Justin Lerner. Well, he left the pike alone in the Passaic this week and decided to head up to Lake Ontario and get into some really nice salmon. He got me jealous there. I haven't been up to Lake Ontario in a couple of years, and I missed that salmon fish, and I think we have to get up there and do that too. Good friend Eric Goodstall out getting some native brookies on the fly. I know he ties his own flies, does a really good job of it, and out getting some of these really sweet little brookies out there on these creeks. Good job there, Eric. And wrapping things up, we have Hunter Higginbotham. If you remember, we had his pop on a couple of weeks ago from Yakima Baits, and they're out there in the Colorado River getting some beautiful salmon. I know next year I'm planning on getting out to Oregon and doing some fishing out in the Colorado myself, and hopefully I got those kind of fish to look forward to. But that's a really nice wrap up. Thank you guys all for sending in those pictures. What a great trophy board. Now that's going to bring up our trivia giveaway for this week. And our question is, another name for a brook trout is brook browns, mini browns, or brook char. Now, Tony Maja is going to give away the prize this week. It's a nice brand new Tony Maja hat. So the first person that gives me the correct answer, Tony's going to send them a Maja hat. So what is another name for a brook trout? Brook brown, a mini brown, or a brook char? Ryan Swoop says a mini. No. Jen Wong says brook char. That is correct. Congratulations, Jen. Good stuff. And then Jared, you guys all get it now after the fact. Jen was the first one to do it. Thank you very much. Yeah, it's called a brook char. I think they're part of the Arctic char family. And yeah, you can tell by the little white fins. It's a really neat little fish. So Jen, I'll get a hold of you after the show, and we'll get Tony your address so he can mail you out a nice little hat there. But that's kind of going to wrap things up for this show. Thank you guys all so much for that. Jen says because it's not a trout. It's a char, correct. So that's going to wrap things up for this week. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Tony's just a wealth of knowledge. Always check him out at TonyMajaProducts.com, and hit Tony up. He's a great guy to even just ask a question. He's always there to help anybody. Got to thank our sponsors, Tim Keebler at FinSeeker Guide Service. Remember, those trips are filling up. Give Tim a call, 215-262-4811. Our good friend Tony Maja as well, and the folks at the Fisherman Magazine. And as always, you can email me at PoconoGeorge@outlook.com. And don't forget to check out our new website, PoconoOutdoorsGuy.com. We're having blogs going on. I'm going to be putting recipes on there. We have a chat board, a whole bunch of things. Please check it out. We'd really appreciate it. And that's going to wrap things up for this week. Hope you guys had a good time, and we'll see you all next week.